Welcome back everybody to some more Berwick on our Journeyman save, and today we are here for the games against Cowdenbeath and Queen's Park. So, we have had a slight change in system, but first, you may remember we had a game in the Cup, in the Iron Brew Cup, and unfortunately it was a 2-2 defeat on penalties. So, it was a relatively good game actually. We managed to create a fair bit, and this came in after our new system change, which I'll go through shortly, but as you can see, we went 1-0 down quite early on, but then managed to pull back 2 goals quite early into the second half, where they equalised, and unfortunately it went to penalties, and we just couldn't see them off, really. You may notice a lot of bookings. Yeah, that's kind of a worry, to be honest, but hopefully it was just a one-off for that game. This isn't nice to look at. Let's sort of change it. You don't see us score very much. I have noticed this. We only score when you're not here. But, like I said, slight change in system. We've gone to a controlled possession style, and we've moved Brown to a box-to-box midfielder. So it's quite subtle in the sense of we've not changed the shape or anything like that, but we have sort of changed the way we play. We've also made Scott a pressing forward rather than a target man to accommodate this. And I've got quite high hopes for it. I just noticed that when we played... Who was it we played in the second game? An Athletic. They held the ball really well, and we just couldn't really do a lot with it. And I'm just hoping that by changing systems, we're going to be able to do something a bit similar. We've got some decent passers in the team. You'll see here 10 there, 9 there. Mark Stowes is 10 as well. And Paul Willis has 8. So, like, our midfield can pass the ball, at least relative to this level. So, I'm just hoping that we can sort of see a bit more out of them. The other thing to note, before I forget, is Robert Wilson's back in the side. Back from his injury and replaces Jack Cook at the back. So hopefully he can perform, because he's one of our better centre-halves. Our best centre-half, I would say. So, expecting quite a lot here today, as this is how they line up. If I just hide me for a second so you can see this. So, I don't know how good their players are. I mean, let's just take a quick look. This guy looks like he could have something about him, but yeah, hopefully it looks quite defensive. Hopefully we can try and break this down, and at the very least, even if we don't win, let's put me back before I forget. Even if we don't win, I just want to see us create some chances, because last episode was dire, to be honest. So let's go out there and give these fans, as in you, your money's worth, which isn't actually anything. But so you're going to get nothing if that's what happens. I'm sorry. So this has happened again. We're at half time. No highlights. But okay, so let's look at the negative first. We've committed 11 fouls in the first half. That's a lot. But we've had more shots. We've had the same amount of shots and targets, but we have had a massive amount of the possession. And considering we have just changed the system, at least that's something. But we do need to try and create something. I'm going to say you've been unlucky so... Okay. Mistake. They look switched off. I think they might have nerfed saying you've been unlucky, because it was so overpowered in the past couple of years that it wouldn't entirely be unneeded. I just seem to be getting a lot more negative reactions from saying it than I've ever really had before, as that had some power on it. But, enter in orbit if it keeps going. Okay, we're there's a highlight. I was going to say we're 60 minutes in and nothing has happened, but there is now a highlight as... I don't know which way it's going, though. Cox is on the ball, and it looks like it might be in their favour, but McKinley picks it up. Back to Adams it goes. Now, can we try and build something here? We are trying to build from the back now. This long and narrow pitch is now not beneficial at all to us, as Cox runs forward and he puts it away after it was just stolen from our centre-half. It's kind of awkward for 2 reasons. First of all, we did quite literally struggle there because of our narrower pitch, but also, just, we don't really have ball-playing centre-backs, so they sort of struggle on the ball like that, and then that happens. We do have another highlight here. McKinley is on it. O'Kane, who had a great game against Bohemians, by the way, worth mentioning. But when you're trying to keep possession, not having any space like this is really difficult. Lavery to Scott. He gets wiped out. No, yes, it is a penalty. Okay, we've had a lot of practice. We've had 4 penalty shootouts. Willis, who has 16 penalties, is stepping up to take it. Can he put it away? He can very calmly slot it away into the opposite corner of the keeper to equalise the game against Cowdenbeath at 1-1. Look at how narrow this is. It looks silly. Maybe I went a bit too narrow when I went narrow. Oops. My bad. Maybe I should have just gone with the long, but not gone narrow in case we wanted to change systems. It's a bit of a mistake on my part as they put in a cross. Cox takes it. Just whistles wide. I thought that was going in for a second there. And there is a temptation to make a change, and it is going to happen. It's one you're probably expecting, but Scullion's coming on for Lavery, who's having a shocking game. And hopefully this can lead to something being created for us to maybe nick a winner here. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Although, 87th minute, we have a throw-in to Willis. And can we create something? It goes forward, actually faster than the screen could keep up with it. And Renton is now on the ball, plays it across, and Mortimer scores the easy goal. I just want to see us get points. I don't feel like I'm asking a lot. I just want to see us get points and not just lose. I'm not watching it again. I don't need to see a tap-in. Okay, we've got another highlight here, and it's ricocheted off of our own player as we attempted to play. Okay, Brown wins it back. Could potentially get something as Willis pumps it up, and no, that's not very controlled possession, is it? Lumping it up to their fullback. But they pump it forward again, and we do maybe... No, Cox is on the ball, and our centre-half's just wandered off. Renton is in on space, and Adams with a decent save. Let's just for these last few minutes. Where's this gone? Mentality, attacking. Let's go very attacking, actually. Very attacking. They've renamed Overload. So Scott, now on the ball. Can't find anyone with the ball forward, and it looks like time is just going to tick away. And... another loss, 2-1. At least we scored this time. Admittedly, it was a penalty, but... we didn't necessarily do badly. We created a couple more chances, and we had possession, but... it's not good, is it? Aggressive. I'm going to say I expect to see you all in training. They seemed demotivated. I don't care. That was rubbish. So... I guess we'll be back for the game against Kings Park. We're just not playing very well. I mean, I know we were going to be... oh, God, the other teams are winning games. That's not good. Queen's Park is basically turning into a must-win as we're looking very poor. Okay, so we are here for the game against Queen's Park, and we desperately need some points. And we have slightly changed the system again, literally just a flat change from the control possession to the vertical tiki-taka. Now, the reason behind this is I just think it better represents what I want. This is literally the only series where I've actually played any matches. I've not played any games like on any other saves off of YouTube. So I'm still kind of getting used to all of these and what they do, and having just read through this, it seems more like what I want. So we've just switched to it. Never thought I'd hear the words tiki-taka being played in the Scottish fourth tier, but turns out we are. So we are here then, Queen's Park, and this is what they're going with. 3 strikers, typically very overpowered on Football Manager. So let's see if it still is. I don't really know what to say. I feel like let's just say good luck, lads. Go out there and pull off an upset. Yeah, it did nothing. It never does. You didn't need me to move my camera to tell you that that does nothing, because it's one of my team talks. They never do anything. The big question here then is, will we have a highlight in the first half? And as you say it, we do. Hart in goal. Assume it's not Joe. Lavery up to Scott. Can we find a pass? We can, and it's okay on the ball in front of goal. Hits the bar. Oh, I thought it was in. It hits the underside of the bar and bounces out. So unfortunate not to be 1-0 up right now. O'Kane with a great forward run there. And new system, we have an early chance. Just saying. Just saying. Free kick to us then, Kinnaird out to Willis, and we play it inside to O'Kane, forward to Scott. We're working it around quite nicely here. Brown plays it outward to Stowe, and the narrower pitch for them as well here, actually, just noticed. Scott takes the header, the cross from Stowe onto Scott. It's his first senior goal in the league. He did score in the game against Bohemians, and we are 1-0 up. And that feels really good to say. I don't know how often I'm going to get to say it this season, but yeah, we're 1-0 up. Scott rises to win the header, knocks it into the back. And one thing I think I've actually just noticed. Hold on a second. No, okay, I'm losing it. I thought they'd remove jumping reach as a stat because I don't remember seeing it on him, but yeah, he has decent jumping reach. It's 10, which for this level is decent. Highlight straight from kickoff, but I don't know if that just is because I went onto his stats page. They lump it forward and we win the ball, and they play it forward again. We win the header again. Kinnaird doing a good job at the back here. We're looking to try and work it maybe? No, it's lost out to Gibson as Hart. They've got an England international in goal. This hardly seems fair. It's pumped forward again, and I feel like we're just watching a load of nothing here. Adams distributes it to Kinnaird, who loses out, and maybe we're not watching a bunch of nothing. Hawk's shot, though, is dreadful, and somehow Adams made a save. It's a miracle. Goal kick to us then. Adams on the ball, pumps it up to this right wing. As the ball flies towards the camera, Willis now on it, plays it forward. Scott, Gibson. Am I in the way of the ball here? No, I'm just a bit concerned about where my camera is and how big it is. But if it does become a problem, we can always move it. But the director's doing a pretty good job of controlling the camera. Roberts is on the ball here, though. Brown clears it. Can Lavery run onto it? He can. Oh, the shot just goes wide. It's a dismal effort, apparently. It looked quite close to me, but who knows? It looked like it hit the post and bounced out to me. I'm not going to lie. It can be quite hard to tell in 3D sometimes, but, you know. Hart pumps it forward. Stowe down to Lavery. Can he find a pass? Sort of. Brown puts in a tackle to win it back. And Willis now on the ball. Oh, it's not great, though. From one of our better players on the pitch as well, as Hawk comes forward with it. Those three strikers here making the space for them very compact. As Osudar's on the ball, takes the strike, and Adams saves. We've got highlights in the first half. This is amazing. As Paul Willis, our best player, goes off injured. Less amazing. Significantly less amazing. Fortunately, our second best player out on that position is Ross Brown, and yeah, that's quite a simple change there, to be honest. Sean Murphy, though, can play as a central midfielder on attack, because this is what I did against Bohemians. This is pretty much the setup, apart from I had Willis out here. I played the Murphy on the central midfielder on attack, and it worked out really well. He was making a lot of good runs forward, so hopefully we can see that again today. But right now, it's half-time. We've got a 1-0 lead. And apart from that injury, we've looked okay. They've had a few decent chances, but we've had a few of our own. I mean, that one from O'Kane in the opening minutes of the game. I'm surprised it didn't go in, to be fair, but I'm pleased how things are going. Keep it up. And as you can see here, the team are loving it. So let's get into this second half. You may see me keep having to look down when I do that. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with the positioning of the page down button on my keyboard. It's not one I use overly often. So, Wilson, O'Kane, come on, can we work? Oh, it's an awful ball. And Buckley's on it, gives it to Hawk. Osadollar takes the strike. It goes over and wide. It was a terrible shot, to be fair. And it's a bit of a shame that we can't really go up on the league because of the point system of this game, even if we do win, because I feel like it gives us something else to fight for. But with Queen's Park being quite low down, this could end up being a 6-point game at the end of the season. And the fact that this team rejected us, Sterling never responded, but Queen's Park outright rejected us. So it would be quite nice to win this one. But East comes forward. Adams with a sceptical save, but it stays out of the net, and I guess that's the important part. They do manage to win a corner, though, as Roberts is going to take. Brown heads clear, but it falls to McKernan. Back to Roberts, he puts in the cross, headed clear again, and now Scott is on the ball. Can we mount some form of attack? Referee tries to put in a tackle, but Scott dodges it, and they're back in possession, and the highlight fades out. And straight back in again, they have a throw-in. It's out to Roberts. Wilson now on the ball, plays it forward, poorly though. And they're working it quite nicely here. East takes the strike, it goes over. This is getting a bit dodgy, and I am going to make a quick change because, not sure if you could see that there, but you certainly can hear. Darren Lavery, again, having a poor game. He's been poor recently, actually. He may have to sit out for a couple. He scored quite a lot, especially in the Cups quite early on, but he hasn't done so for a while, and as such, maybe a bit of rotation is needed. Especially because a couple of players are starting to complain about a lack of game time, and maybe quite rightly so, because, you know, Lavery is underperforming. Murphy on the ball here, though, and it is cleared. They're looking to push forward, and we have a lot of men committed to this attack. This is potentially quite dangerous as it goes through to Peters. Adams saves, and it's got to be said, he's kept quite a few shots out. Maybe not, you know, as simply as he should have done. A few of these could have been caught, definitely, but he has kept a lot of shots out of the net. And that is the crux of his job, it has to be said, as Scott bombs forward here, and we may have enough numbers on attack to maybe bag a goal as they come forward, put in a good challenge. Ball arguably could have gone across a little bit earlier than he attempted to there, really. Well, he didn't, but, you know, it could have gone across into the box a lot earlier than he lost it. So, potentially our own mistake there. But highlight, we're starting from a corner. We do head clear. Scott is in control of the ball. Can he find a ball forward? He finds it one sideways to McKinley. And as long as we hold possession, we can potentially create something here. Stowe lumps it forward. Scott is on it. Selwyn Scott, he scored one. He scores his second goal in the league this season in the same game. And we are 2-0 up against Queen's Park, the team that rejected us as manager. bit of a grudge match here for me, I'm not going to lie. And to see that ball from Stowe, one of the players we brought in, beautiful ball forward. And you can see sort of here, I'm just going to pause real quick just to sort of talk about something. So one thing I have noticed since we've gone more controlled, I noticed it mainly in the cup game and then again here. When you go more controlled, you do still play these long balls forward. You just sort of, you have more time on the ball and it commits the defenders to it, if that makes sense. So that when you do launch the ball forward to one of your strikers, they end up being sort of 2v3 or 2v2 rather than being 2v6 like it was before. So I feel like we're still actually playing quite a direct system. We're just slowing down when we do it, if that makes any sense at all. But 2-0 up and with 30 seconds to go, a lot of good things here. Clean sheet, 2 goals, and Adams, it has to be said, like I said, he didn't save the shots in potentially the best way that was possible. You know, there was a lot that he could have caught instead of parried, but he did actually save a lot of shots on target. They had 7 to our 4. So a great game from us really all around. We did very well of keeping possession, and I feel like something may have just clicked here. I don't know why. I'm very optimistic about that though. But 2 assists for Mark Stowe. I didn't actually pick up on that in the game. Let me just hide the camera again. And yeah, 2 assists for Mark Stowe, a player we bought in. That's fantastic to see. He was bought in as sort of a temporary replacement while Gary Phillips is out injured. But as a couple of you may have noticed, Phillips is on the bench. He's just not reclaimed his starting spot. Stowe has been, you know, reasonably good since he came in. Not game-changing, but decent. And today, well, game-changing is exactly the word. So we finally have a win in the league. That is huge. That can hopefully turn into a bit of upswing. We'd won 1 in the cup. You know, we went to penalties against Bohemians, a better team. And as you can see, I don't know if it shows up actually on the camera. I don't know if I've got the Steam overlay set up. But we have just got the first victory achievement. Just to prove I wasn't lying when I say I haven't played outside this series, we got the first victory achievement. And as you can see here, actually, if you compare this to the team above us, we may not be winning games, but we're not actually getting battered as hard as a couple of these teams. As you can see here, -7 goal difference, -5, -6. We're actually doing relatively okay. And, you know, a couple of results and we can certainly turn this around. You see, 1 more win here and we just fly above a load of teams. So it may look like we've had a poor start, but I don't think it's quite as bad as the results make it seem. So with that said and done, we will be back tomorrow for games against Peterhead and Elgin City. Elgin City, again, could be a massive game come the end of the season. Another struggling side similar to Queen's Park. And if we can maybe pick up a couple of points tomorrow, you know, a couple of draws or maybe a win or maybe 2 wins, you know, if we're being a bit optimistic, then I think we're more than ready to start trying to put together a good run of form and see where we can progress this league to in the first sort of half of it. So, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, especially with our first win, a couple of goals, a few more chances being created. It's nice to see. It's hard to keep watching defensive football. But if you want to be back for tomorrow's episode, it goes up at 5:30 PM, or you can use the subscribe button to get it into your subscribe feed, whichever you prefer. And yeah, thank you again very much for watching. Leave any feedback below. It would be really appreciated. And yeah, see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.